So we know that everybody keeps trying to turn Nolan Wells into a symbol before they even know what happened to him. So an 18-year-old black kid goes out on the water and doesn't come back, and somehow the first instinct for some is to reach all the way back to 1955. Y'all watch this.
The forensic autopsy came back, and lo and behold, even though they're trying to downplay it, and I understand Ben Crump and NAACP and others don't want to try and jump to conclusion or step too far out, but the forensic autopsy showed that there was what they call discoloration. No, I call them bruises in the back of the head, appearing that someone has had their hand pressed at the back of their head, at the back of Nolan's head. That's concerning to me. And so hopefully we'll get some more insight on that. I'm not sure. It seems like there's another opportunity for them to investigate something physiological. I'm just not sure, because as far as I knew, the forensic autopsy is as far as you go, but we'll see. But yeah, that's what causes new concern. And then you've had different stories coming out from the teenagers. One of the young men himself spoke out about it, claiming they had begged Nolan to get on the boat, and that he wouldn't. Then there's the woman that he's supposed to have stayed back with, I think her name Katie or something. Well, he was supposed to have stayed back with Katie. That was their story. However, Katie's friend says that Katie hasn't. She saw him only in passing on the island, didn't stay with him, and Katie isn't saying anything at all. So it's a lot of moving parts here, and I'm just hoping it's not one of those, quite frankly, and if his friends didn't have anything to do with it and they truly left him behind, etc., etc. He has discoloration, bruises on the back of his neck. Something happened. And quite frankly, this is Mississippi, where in 1955, which sparked the civil rights movement, Emmett Till was killed for so-called whistling at a white woman. And now we're hearing Nolan Wells stayed back to be with a white woman, and he turns up dead with bruises behind his neck. That's the context I'm putting this in. It's Emmett Till, perhaps, all over.
So Judge Mathis looked at red declaration, said declaration, excuse me, y'all, this is just a lot for me. Red discoloration on a body that had been in the water, and immediately saw Emmett Till. I don't think that's an investigation. You know, he's basically saying it's muscle memory when the first tool you reach for is a 70-year-old murder, which was tragic, which in no way, shape, or form am I trying to pass by or breeze by. But when you do that, you've already decided the story before the facts finish talking. Now, I want you to listen to how that same energy sounds, right? When it's raw and unfiltered.
You gotta be a sick, it's a sick world we live in, where about 5 to 8 kids are able to try to keep a secret pertaining to the life of a black person. 7 to 8 white kids are keeping a secret. That's how much they tell you they don't value our lives. You gotta be, nigga, are we in Disney World? Is this La La Land? This feels like a movie. You mean to tell me 7 to 8 white kids are keeping a secret about a black kid's life? Together? Conspiring? Nobody cracked? They got it from somewhere. Not a token black guy, I don't know if token's derogatory, but not a black guy that came, smashed all the girls on them because they want that chocolate, huh? Hung to the knee, pause. I don't mean to be insensitive, but they wanted that chocolate. They wanted that, what you can't give them. Hate. All you niggas came together. All the guys came together to conspire to keep a secret about Nolan Wells. How deep is Mississippi? We know the history of Mississippi. We know the history of racism. We know the history of that. Right? Mississippi burning, there's a lot of things that happen in Mississippi pertaining to these things. You gotta think deeper. It's deeper than them kids. It's in the genes, it's in the blood, it's in here. Grandfather called them, yo, we don't need a toe. That means they are part of it. They all know. They all know. And you have these guys online, these foons, I don't want to be insensitive, these foons that's sitting here trying to jack and trying to go around what's going on. At the end of the day, it's deeper than that. When it's in the blood, it's from the parents, the grandparents, KKK things. They watch it, they understand it. So now with social media, they try to relate and be relatable and try to, let's have the black guy with us, or let's do that and do that. But they can't understand. Once you get that black swag around you, it takes over. Huh? Inspirational. Huh? You watching rap, hip hop, trying to be down with us? We inspire. The greatest in the world. And once they get around, that's jealousy. Huh? Katie and all them girls on them. They gonna understand that. What's the fight for? What's the fighting for? It's sick.
How can 6 or 7 white teams be so secretive, he says? The assumption is already locked in. The only thing left is to fill in the guilt. Notice nobody is asking what the black friends who were there actually said. The script was written before the interviews, right? And then the internet did what it always does, right? When a narrative needs more fuel, at least.
Apparently this call leaked. I don't know whether it's real or not, but it's very disturbing. If this is real, Mississippi, you're in trouble.
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can you all please come? We have a membership. Shut the fuck up!
Yeah, that's not a good look. If y'all had anything to do with killing that boy and then trying to cover it up, whew, man, we're not gonna hear the end of this. That is disturbing. That is demonic. To do this in 2026, I'm speechless. Listen, say it ain't so. Mississippi, you got a lot of shit in your hands. There's gonna be a lot of hell to pay. You better get ready for it. All the parents, oh, it's gonna get bad. You're gonna wish your kids were in jail if some of them people down there, them angry people, get their hands on them.
I say whatever I like. I'll go wherever I like. I don't care.
Okay, so we reviewed this yesterday, but it's been reported that fake AI audio of people yelling, "Nolan, wake up," and "you killed him." And if that was the case, that would mean somebody sat down, generated the most dramatic possible conversation, and posted it like it was evidence. And obviously, the people who shared it the hardest were the same ones already convinced, right? That's not grief, man. That's content. Now, watch what happens when real photos show up.
It says Nolan Wells cradling the girl on his lap last time I saw him. Now, this was a reference from Warren in my interview. And they're trying to say Warren was talking about Nolan and the cradling the girl in his lap and trying to say that it's on this boat that Warren saw it. If you watch the interview, Warren was saying that he was cradling the girl while they were in the water. He was kind of holding her up and, you know, he feeling the girl. That's what Warren said on the interview, if you listen. Why would Benjamin Crump lie and try to act as if Warren was saying on a boat he saw Nolan cradling this girl? And then this is what Benjamin Crump said. Looks like Nolan with the girl on Wyatt's boat, on his lap, not on the island, and 7 people on the boat. Now, Benjamin Crump's sorry, ashy elbows, they would have responded to us like a rational person would. We would have been able to say, hey, look, bruh, let us give you more information so you don't get out here and lie to the public again. Here's the little boat picture that they stole it from and tried to put some enhancements and stuff on it. This is them getting towed out. You don't see a black kid on this boat nowhere. This is a picture of them getting towed out. Nolan is not on the boat. They know this, but they push the lies anyway. And my team is saying it looked like the original post was deleted as well. Why y'all deleting stuff and all this if you're telling the truth? What they're doing is that after I did the interview with Warren, their stories begin to crumble in front of them, so they have to make up lies and claim they got some doctored audio or whatever, some audio where they presuming that people are talking about all kind of crazy stuff when that's not true. Warren said it wasn't true. Trayston said it wasn't true. Now TMZ proved that it wasn't true because they had verified sources say they seen Nolan on the boat after Warren left.
So, 7 people on a boat when they called the sea tow. 7 people when it was being towed. Nolan isn't in the picture. That's not a theory either, from what I'm seeing. That's a photograph. The story that he left with them and somehow disappeared on the water just got a lot quieter. Now, here's the part most people never saw.
Officer Tatum, you personally interviewed, you traveled to Mississippi, from my understanding, you to personally interview one of the young men who left the island without Nolan. Why should the public trust whatever account is coming from them right now, in your estimation, based on what you've learned? First things first, I shouldn't say that. First things first, what did you deduce from the conversation you had from one of the friends that was with Nolan Wells? What did you take away from that you'd like the public to know?
Well, Stephen A., I want to make sure this is clear. I actually spoke to all the boys that were being accused. I spoke to family members. I spoke to also their attorneys. It's just that the one young man had the, I wouldn't say courage, because others had reasons why they didn't want to come on the camera, but he was able to come on the camera, and I interviewed him. And I also interviewed another young man who was black, who was there, who had his own personal accounts of what happened. I'm not asking people to believe or not believe. I just wanted to get people the information. So nobody had heard from the young boys. Nobody had heard their accounts. And a lot of misinformation was put out there, some intentionally, some maybe not intentionally, but it was very detrimental and not conducive for the investigation into Nolan Wells' death. It was punitive. They came out and started with race. It had to be something nefarious because these boys are white for any other reason. So I wanted to go out and hear the full story. And what I deduced from the interview and talking to everybody is that these young boys had nothing to do with what ended up happening to Nolan Wells. And also they were best friends. I mean, these kids had so many pictures, so many text messages of them being closer to Nolan than any other friend group. And also one thing that shocked me was that this was an island, not secluded, not an island with 5 or 6 people on it. It was an island where there was thousands of people there, hundreds of boats, and also a lot of people could verify the statements that was made from some of these young men. So I really wish that we could have started at a point to say, what happened to Nolan Wells? Let's work together as a community. Let's talk to these young men, talk to other people, and let's find out what happened to Nolan instead of jumping the race.
Officer Tatum, how do you know that it was misinformation that was put out there? How did you come to the conclusion that something was misinformation? Explain that.
Well,
is it just
I knew
according to their account or something else?
No, initially I knew it was hogwash because when Al Sharpton and them got on TV, they automatically made an inference to say, well, it was something that had to happen because these kids were white. It was white kids with one black boy. I mean, that there's no evidence to project that unless you believe every white person is nefarious in their dealings with black people. And so I thought that was suspicious on his face. And then they said that Nolan was the only black kid. He was not the only black kid. Many of his black friends were also at the island with him. So, some of those things that start.
So Brandon Tatum actually went down there and talked to the young man being accused, black and white. He talked to the families. He talked to the lawyers. What we walked away with was a group of kids who had pictures and text showing that they were very close to Nolan, not enemies at all. And an island that wasn't empty. Hundreds of boats, thousands of people. The idea that this was some secret racial, excursion starts looking thinner than the closer you look at it. The closer you look at the actual day. Now, this is a clip we reviewed, but with a twist. And just so we don't leave this heavy.
If you really want to see the racism white people say doesn't exist, look at the wealth gap. That's all you need to know. I guarantee you not a single black person owned any of these boats, right? So if you want, let's say you want to be able to afford something like this, where would you do that? All these environments that you would need to go to earn something like this, it's all controlled by white people. You know what I'm saying? Especially jobs that are paying over $100,000, $200,000 a year. It's all controlled by white people. If you don't move a certain way that white people want you to move, you'll never get that money. So you'll never be able to afford something like this. This is why if you somehow figure out a way to finagle and outwit the system and you manage to get money to buy something like this and white people see you in these areas, they're gonna start questioning, what are you doing here? That's why they be asking you, what are you doing in my neighborhood? Because they know you're not supposed to have the money.
Who else is tired of this? This professional victimhood, running around complaining, pointing the finger at everyone, pretending that the world owes you anything whatsoever. Maybe start by taking the hardware out of your nose, doing some introspection, doing some reflection to figure out maybe why you aren't where you want to be, and maybe start trying to move in the direction that you want to be instead of sitting around here blaming white people for all your problems. They're sick of it. I'm sick of it. You should be sick of it too.
Wow. So a grown man standing in front of yachts explaining that white people control the boats. Meanwhile, actual black yacht owners exist in real life and somehow never make it into the speech. Some people need the barrier to stay up more than they need the truth to come out. Unfortunately, Nolan Wells he's deceased. That should be enough to slow everybody down. Instead, we watch people turn a drowning into a morality play because the optics felt familiar. When the past is the only lens you own, every new tragedy has to wear the same clothes. The danger isn't that people care about race. The danger is that people need race so badly that they'll invent the villain before the body is even cold. And when the photos, the interviews, and the timeline start cutting against the story, they just get louder instead of quieter. That's not justice, man. That's addiction to a certain kind of pain. Nolan deserved better than to become a prop in somebody else's reoccurring nightmare. So I want you to drop the word unforced in the comments if you felt that. And I'll leave you with, which one do I want to leave you with? Be not quick in your spirit to become angry, for anger lodges in the heart of fools. Excuse me. This is Ecclesiastes 7 and 9. Y'all be safe. Go check on somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Peace.